This episode of Gareth Jones on Speed is going to be a little different to the usual fare, and it's going to be quite personal too. Hello, welcome to Gareth Jones on Speed. I'm Gareth, and it's just me. Many thanks to Stevie Sackin and Zog and Alex Goy for doing an amazing job of covering the last episode of the podcast without me. That's only happened, I think, 2 or 3 times in total in the 19 years we've been making Gareth Jones on Speed.
In a quarter of a mile, keep right to stay on M1.
Yes, I know that. Thank you very much. I'm driving to North Wales, as I almost always am on Gareth Jones on Speed, but things are slightly different this time round. I'm not in a review car.
Keep right to stay on M1.
Thank you. I'm not in a review car. I'm in a rental van. I went to what used to be called Godfrey Davis Rent-A-Car. It's called Europe Car now. I'm so old. And yeah, I rented a van for a week because I've been doing a lot of moving things around because, as I mentioned a couple of shows ago, I'm moving house. That's why I missed the last episode. I've left my house in London, this house I've lived in for 29 years. I've been in London for 42 years, so that's a big part of my universe that I'm leaving behind. And not only am I leaving that house, I'm leaving London, I'm leaving England, and I'm moving back to Wales. Short story is that about 2.5 years ago, Violet and I went our separate ways, and the process of disentangling our two inextricably linked lives has taken a little while. We were never married. Violet was the best wife I never had. But we were together for, 27 years or something like that? I lose track. And they were fantastic years. We have 2 incredible children. We built an amazing production company together, Whiz Bang TV, which is making this program that you're listening to right now. And we've moved on. The kids are now, I wouldn't say grown up, but one of them is 21 and the other one is 23, and they're making their own way. So they've got their places sorted where they are at the moment, Liverpool and London, and I'm setting up a new home in North Wales. I'm not moving straight into the house I'm buying in Conwy. I am going to stay with friends for a few months just while we complete on the house and I have some construction work and maintenance done on the property, so it's lovely when I move in. That's the plan. I'll keep you posted. But this program is not about my life, and it's not about houses. It's about cars and vehicles. So let's talk about cars and vehicles, shall we? I'm driving a Mercedes-Benz Vito. Is it called? It's not called Performance. It's got something that starts with P, Professional, I can't remember, 114 CDI, and you know what, it's really good. I was disappointed when I picked it up because it was a Renault Traffic or similar, and it said, and I thought, oh, maybe I'll get a Transit. You know, I love the Ford Motor Company and I love the Transit. I have a relationship with the Transit that goes back longer than my life in London, right? I'm a roadie. I was a roadie between 1979 and 1985. So yeah, spent a lot of time in transits and in sick transit, as my friend Pete Williams says. And I would love to have driven a new Transit, but maybe that's something I'm going to do a little bit later this year. But more on that in a minute. This particular vehicle, another surprise when I picked it up. The surprise was that it was a Mercedes-Benz. Oh, that's great. I wish it was a Ford, but I'm not complaining, really. And it's an automatic, which is fantastic for the schlepping around London that I've done for the last 5 or 6 days, ferrying Violet and Tycho's things into their new home and packing all my stuff up in to the back off to take to Wales. Actually, not all my stuff, all my personal stuff. The rest of the stuff that I've accumulated in the 29 years of that house has gone up in 2 removals trucks, low loaders. I think they were about 10 tonners each, maybe 8 ton each. And yeah, they're taking all that up. In fact, it's already gone. It went a few days ago into storage in North Wales. So I've got this vehicle which is now moving my stuff around, and I really noticed a difference when I loaded it up with my stuff today. A lot of it is very heavy. I've got some very important stuff in the back, a bunch of hard drives. In fact, the RAID system, the 4-drive RAIDs that come in a network attached storage box, I've got 2 of those in the back of this vehicle, as well as my computer, as well as my mic stand, my microphone, my audio input, my 5.1 stereo system. Yeah, the entire Gareth Jones on Speed audio production facility, that home studio, is in the back of this van. And I hope to be able to set it up at my mate Phil's house, where I'm staying for the next few months. I hope there's enough room to do that. There will be in some form, I'm certain of it. So the programme might sound a little different from now on, because it will be recorded in Wales rather than recorded in London, but using the same technology in a different audio environment, right? It's going to sound different. So listen out for that audio files. How does this vehicle sound? I'm cruising at the moment at 61 miles per hour. I've just inched it up to 65 miles per hour. It's got cruise control, it's got speed limiter, hasn't got lane control, hasn't got distance control, but that's absolutely fine. It's very relaxing to drive. In fact, while I was driving Violet and Tycho, our oldest son, around the other day moving stuff, I was chatting whilst driving, and Violet said to me, "You always perk up when you're driving, don't you? You're so much brighter." I said, "Yeah, it's my natural environment, because, you know, one of my nicknames, Gaz Top Non-Stop, I like to be on the go, and driving is the very definition of being on the go, so it kind of suits me, and I don't really care what I'm driving, whether it's a push bike, an electric car, a giant van, a people mover, a sports car. Everything is interesting. And I'd like to drive a variety of vehicles. I think the largest thing I've ever driven was a Ford Cargo many, many years ago in my roadie days, and that was fun. Did I ever tell you the story of how we fell asleep in a Ford Cargo driving to Germany once, and Simon Bain, who'd been driving alongside me, fell asleep with his head on the steering wheel. When he woke up, he had the word cargo embossed on his face in mirror image, having slept on the embossed logo on the padded steering wheel. It was very funny. It took about a day for it to fully vanish. In fact, I just had a nice nap in this van, because I've been moving house, packing everything up for the last 3 weeks. For the last 3 or 4 days, I've had very, very, very little sleep, something like 3 or 4 hours a night, and I like to get double that normally. So I was very tired, and it's a very emotional day for me today. You know, it represents the end of the longest and most wonderful relationship I've ever had. I'm talking about my relationship with Violet and my relationship with London. You can hear it's emotional. And then to top that, about 5 minutes ago, I turned my phone on again after my short nap, and I get a message from Nigel Phillips, Twist, the original drummer in The Alarm, my brother in many ways. We're not blood, but he's very much my brother. He messaged me from California, where he lives, to tell me that Carl Wallinger of World Party has died. Unbelievably sad. I knew Carl, known Carl since the early 80s. He's from Prestatyn in North Wales. He was a great friend of Nigel's. They were in a band together called Pax and another band called Quasimodo before he formed World Party. And we were very close. I had many a great conversation with Carl and knew his entire family, who are absolutely wonderful people and must be devastated. And when I get a chance to sit down, I'm going to message them all and send them my deepest, most personal condolences and to this very sad and very shocking news. Sorry, I've gone off topic again, but it's a massive day today. It kind of overwhelms everything else. Yeah, I'm driving to North Wales, but I'm not going to go all the way today because I'm so tired. They say in the highway code, don't drive, don't drink. They say in the highway code, don't drive if you're emotional or tired. And I'm certainly been two of those things. So I'm going to take a little respite when I reach my buddy Vinny in Solihull, between Coventry and Birmingham in the West Midlands. You know Vince, he's appeared on the show, he's been to Le Mans with us before, he loves cars, he's a great mate. It'd be nice to safely park my van with my entire universe in the back of it, all the important stuff, at his house tonight. In the meantime, what's this vehicle like? Oh, it's easy to drive, it's an automatic, like I said, perfect for schlepping around London at 20 miles per hour, which completely suits me in a van. That's a really nice thing to do. A lot of people complain about the low traffic neighbourhood. Yes, it does force us to go greater distances on main roads rather than rat runs through housing estates and the like. And you know, it does seem like you're going a longer way, but the roads today, I have to say, in London and over the last few days, and I don't drive that often within London these days, the roads were really clear. So I don't know which side of the fence you're on regarding ULEZ and LTN, low traffic neighbourhoods, but I've witnessed it work. The air quality is better in London and the traffic is free flowing. Just you drive longer distances to get where you're going. I guess the idea is to dissuade people from car use in the city, and if there's anywhere that you can do that, it's in a city, and certainly in London, because London's public transport system is glorious. I am less than 2 minutes, let me correct myself, where I lived for the last 29 years I was less than 2 minutes away from a bus stop, which could put me at a train station within 6 minutes, a tube station within 10 minutes, and that tube station could put me in the heart of London within 12 minutes of that. So a very efficient way of travelling in London. Use mass transit if you can, right? If you can, use it. It's a beautiful thing. Or ride a bike, or, get around however way you want. Use a car if you want, do anything, but try and use public transport more. Which reminds me, I've got to book a train ticket, because when I've delivered all my stuff to North Wales, I'm going to establish my new temporary home in Conwy and then drive back to London to drop the van off with Europcar and then get a train back to North Wales. Possibly. I might do something else. Instead, I might just get on a train to Southampton, because I've seen a car there that I'd quite like to buy. Because as I'm moving to North Wales, I haven't owned a car for a few years living in London. I'm going to need a car in North Wales, so I'm going to buy one. I've set myself a very modest budget for this. I'm just going to buy something quick and sensible and economical, something I'm interested in, something a little bit odd perhaps. The three options at the moment, I love playing this game with you, can't wait to tell you what the options are, and I really value what your opinions are on which of these three cars I should buy. Now, let's see. Let's start with the sensible choice. I need something that's a bit rugged because I'm going to live halfway up a mountain and I'm going to be moving an awful lot of stuff around for the next few months. So I need something sort of voluminous. I'm not quite ready for an electric car. Maybe I will be soon because I have got off-street parking and a garage in the house that I'm buying. But I think I'm going to, well, I know I'm going to fill that garage with media, all the whiz-bang TV media I need to keep there and get it fully digitized so I can reduce that storage space to a virtual size, put it on some NAS drives, right? Some network attached storage drives, minimize it by 1,000% in size. So I won't be parking my car in the garage, but you know, I will be able to charge at home. But I'm not going to do that just yet. Here are the three options of the cars. The sensible choice, oh hang on, message incoming.
Heart. Do you want to reply?
No.
All right.
Okay, we'll come back to that later, Android Auto. The sensible choice is a car built on a German design platform, a car that they don't make anymore, that I've always admired. I've never driven, but I would value what your initial reaction is to the idea of me driving a Skoda Yeti. Yeah. Wow, what a difference that car is from the Roomster that it shares a lot with, right? The Roomster looks like an ice cream van. It looks awful. But the Yeti looks really purposeful, right? And it's a bit odd. And it would be a very sensible choice. It retains its value. Like I said, it's built on a German design platform, you know, that VW, Skoda, Seat, even Audi technology that's shared across all those cars. Might go for that. Not entirely certain which one yet. I'm open to mind. I'd like to get something
In half a mile, keep right to stay on M1.
Thank you. I'd like to get something that's ULEZ, you know, Euro 6 compliant if it's a diesel, so that if I do have to drive into cities, I can do that. I don't know what the rules are in Liverpool and Manchester.
Keep right to stay on M1.
I don't know what the rules are in Liverpool or Manchester at the moment. They're going to be my nearest cities apart from Chester. But I would imagine that they're going to have some kind of ultra low emission zone themselves before too long. So a little forward thinking, make sure I buy something that's not immediately obsolete. And yeah, you can find Yetis which meet that criteria. Plus, always like the Yeti as a name. Remember the Patrick Troughton Doctor Who story about the Yeti? It was one of the lost episodes of Doctor Who that only exists in my memory. I don't think there's any video of it whatsoever. There may be an audio version and a new animated version. But hey, I'm going off topic. Is the Yeti Doctor Who? Is it TARDIS-like? Yeah, it's very efficient in terms of size. You get a lot of space for your money, I think. Very vertical back, like a Volvo, very practical. The downside of the Yeti is this. It has a slight undercurrent of, I've recently retired about it. And I'm not retired, I'm just relocating, I'm rebooting. So I'm not sure if the Yeti is the car for me, because I'm a young man, right? I'm 62 with the body and mind of a 61-year-old, right? I know, I'm a young man. So yeah, that's choice one. Option two is a car I tested only for a couple of hours on Gareth Jones on Speed, and I drove it around Brooklands test circuit on a test driving day that I did for Mercedes-Benz. And I drove a few cars that day, and I remember being remarkably impressed by the Mercedes-Benz GLA. Slightly raised ride height, 4-wheel drive if you want it. Nice engine, amazing grip and grunt, nicely built. It's got all the cruise and adaptive distance control that you need, all the important stuff. Yeah, that would do nicely. And I've seen one of those that meets my criteria in terms of price and mileage. Don't want to get something over 65, 70,000 miles, right? I think on a diesel, that's great, right? Just run in, you know what I mean? So that's option 2. The slight downside of the Mercedes-Benz is, yes, parts are going to be more expensive. It's not quite as voluminous inside. It looks like a hatchback on big boots, but doesn't have a vertical back. A bit more like a tall coupe, a crossover, right? That's option 2. And then option 3 is a car that I know quite well, that I tested on Gareth Jones on Speed, I think in 2017. I made a video episode about it. I don't know the video episode number, the Gareth Jones on Speed video episode number, but you can look it up if you want on my website, garethjones.tv, and please do that and go and search through the archive. There's lots of stuff on there you may have missed or forgotten that might be fun to revisit, and please do that over the next few months, because like I say, with so many changes going on in my life, I apologise if the next episode might be a day or two late. It might be like this for a little while, but it will keep coming. I promise you, it will keep the average hit rate up of the number of episodes per month, even if it's not quite right on the same day every week. Right, so yeah, go back in the archive and listen to some old episodes, or go and watch the episode about a car that I was really impressed with, really enjoyed, and that is the Citroen C4 Cactus. It's not 4-wheel drive, it's front-wheel drive. It's got raised ride height, very good for looking over hedges in North Wales. Easy to get in and out of at my age. And I'm not stiff generally, but I can tell you, having done 3 weeks of climbing around in the attic and moving every single item in my house, and so much shredding of old business paperwork, oh my gosh, that I have got a bit of a sore back. Not a permanently sore back, but it's tender from all the bending over. So a car that's vertical and easy to get in and out of is very welcome. This van's nice, you step into it, don't you? A Picasso, you step into it even without a step, it's exactly the right height. Again, nice and voluminous inside, beautifully minimalist inside, great graphic display. I like that car. And I've seen one that meets my spec in Southampton. So when I'm finally standing still and I've had an opportunity to think about something else other than the logistics of moving house and the emotional baggage that comes with the end of a beautiful relationship and all the logistics and bag packing and throwing away of stuff and creating maybe and keep piles that comes with that, now that my bandwidth is slightly more open and I can think about cars again, I will give some consideration to those 3 cars and the location of the one I really want to buy, and I'll make a choice. But let me know what you think, right? In the comments below. That's what they say on YouTube, don't they? So if you listen to Gareth Jones on YouTube, please react in the comments, or you can message me in the usual way via my Twitter account, at Gareth Jones TV. I'm on Threads at Gareth Jones TV. I'm on Instagram at Gareth Jones TV. You're getting the idea now. Any more information? I'm also on Blue Sky at Gareth Jones TV. So let me know what you think. It would be lovely to hear from you, because I really value the support and the community that Gareth Jones on Speed has given me over the last 19 years. And hey, you're going to be my other half now that Violet isn't anymore. Hey, and do wish Violet Berlin well. She's appeared on this show many times. She's been a great supporter of me making this program, and we're not at war, as the Manic Street Preacher sang. It's not war, just the end of love. That's okay. So the end of something leads to the beginning of something else. I apologise that this has been a very personal show, but you know, I've got to offload somehow, right? And you guys know me well enough to know that, yeah, I've got to share this stuff with you, or am I oversharing? Okay, onwards, forwards, the future. I will tell you about that after I've done a few miles in this vehicle, and it's appropriate that I'm driving a commercial vehicle because my next project revolves around commercial vehicles, and I can't wait to tell you about it, which I will do on Gareth Jones on Speed in a few moments.
Gareth Jones on Speed.
Can you hear that? Ba-dum, 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 ba-dum. That's the sound of the West Midlands. I'm driving on the M6 North, having stayed overnight, and I'm on the elevated section that's essentially part of Spaghetti Junction, of course, that reaches across Birmingham from south to north, and all these expansion joints are filled with bitumen filler, and it's a big piece of engineering, so it opens and closes and you get bumps, and hey, it's great to be in the West Midlands. The heart of the motor industry, and somewhere I hold in very high regard. You've heard me mention this before on the programme. I'm, as you know, a massive Slade fan. Slade are not just from the West Midlands, but of the West Midlands, and help define what the West Midlands is. So I'm in what I call the Holy Lands at the moment. Less so Birmingham, more Staffordshire, the Black Country, Warsaw, Wolverhampton, Stafford, Bilston, West Bloxwich. These are places embedded in the minds of Slade fans. Anyway, sorry, right, where are we? Well, the reason I was telling you about my current position being in the West Midlands is that I mentioned that I was going to be doing something a bit more with commercial vehicles in future. Well, this is what it is. The commercial vehicle show happens at the NEC in Birmingham in April. I haven't got the exact dates on me at the moment. My head's been full of some other things. But I will be at that event as the official presenter, reporter, media host of the event. So I'm going on a fantastic exploration journey to find out about the latest in commercial vehicles. I'm particularly interested in the last mile vehicles, city electric vans. It's all around my neighbourhood in London, well, my ex-neighbourhood in London, you know, for perhaps 2 years now, 3 years. UPS have all had electric vehicles delivering, and a lot of the Amazon delivery franchise vehicles, they're electric now. I see loads of Maxus electric vehicles from SAIC, and as you know, I drove that SAIC Maxus van to Liverpool and back. When was that? This last summer, and it was incredible. It was fantastic. Ever so impressed. So there's a lot going on in commercial vehicles. So if you're interested in the development of new technology, or drive a van, or want to come along and say hello, or want to find out more, see you there. Yeah, come to that, the Commercial Vehicle Show. I'll put a link to it on the page for this episode of Gareth Jones on Speed. But the first thing that came to mind when I left Vince's, Vince lives in Solihull, which is where Dave Hill from Slade moved to. Very posh, very rural. Oh, it's lovely. However, it's not far from industrial West Midlands. Jaguar are not far away, been a number of layoffs recently. And also a town called Kenilworth, very nearby. Kenilworth. Now, Kenilworth is a truck manufacturer's name in the United States of America. Oh yeah, Freightliner, Peterbilt, Kenilworth, Volvo, International, lots of big names, but Kenilworth. And it reminded me of something that I was reading about Holden as well. You know, Holden became the General Motors franchise in Australia. Before that, the Holden family, when they emigrated from the West Midlands, I think they were actually from Wolverhampton, they were carriage makers, Holden, and they got wrapped up in the transition from carriage maker to horseless cart, you know, the very dawn of the motor industry, and then took those skills with them to Australia. And it's very close, Holden, to Holder, as in Noddy Holder from Slade. I know everything leads back to Slade, but what I'm saying is that names weren't standardised for hundreds of years. There were lots of minor differential spelling of names, not for any reason other than they weren't printed, people didn't have a proper education. So Holder and Holden were almost certainly the same name. Like my family, on my mother's side, Fowkes, double F, Oulkes, Fowkes. And it's related to Fawkes, as in Guy Fawkes, or as we call him in Welsh, Guitar Folk. So we're all converged, right? You know, you don't have to go back many generations to be related to someone important, someone interesting, someone famous, or maybe even another member of your family. Serious. Happens in a lot of families. I'm not pointing fingers here. It's just, you know, it's a genealogical fact. Right, we're now going past, what junction's this? Sutton Coldfield into central Birmingham. It's opened up a bit now. There was a traffic officer with a vehicle in stress on the left hand side. You can hear that the revs are up now and we're moving again. I really enjoy driving long vehicles. I've had fun driving this Vito around London, going deep into corners and turning late, using your mirrors, sitting upright, keeping your hands at the bottom of the wheel, you know, more like driving a truck than a van. Yeah, the Transit really feels like driving an MPV, really does, especially the front wheel drive versions. So I'm hoping, as part of my duty as the media presenter for the commercial vehicle show, that I might get to drive something a bit bigger than a van. I think the biggest thing I've driven in Britain, Ford Cargo, about 10 tonne. In America, in 2019, I went on tour with The Alarm as their podcaster and MC. And while I was out there, I drove the vehicle that we drove round in some of the time. We all drove it. We shared the driving. There were some big drives. I think I told you about it. It was a Freightliner. Was it a Freightliner? I can't even remember now. But it was a massive RV. Similar size to the solid chassis Coca-Cola truck, I think it is, if memory serves. And that had a trailer on it. Can't remember the overall length now. 35 feet, is that right? In old money, being as we were in America. And that was a joy. That was great fun driving around America. I like driving big vehicles. So I quite like to drive an Arctic, a proper 40-tonner, like the one I'm passing at the moment, which I think is a DAF. Let's just see. No, it's a MAN. See, I'm getting better at identifying my commercial vehicles. Yeah, big old MAN. Yeah, the way that the truck industry has evolved and consolidated over the years absolutely mirrors the car industry. You know, German players, big European players, different brands, fragmented and owned by different people now. It's fascinating. I love all that. So I'm going to find out more about that for the commercial vehicle show. And I wonder if they'll let me drive an Arctic around a car park at the NEC. Is that private land? Am I allowed to do that without a licence? And I'd also like to drive some electric vehicles, perhaps even an electric Arctic. That'd be amazing. I'd like to drive a Tesla Cybertruck. That's not going to happen. Sorry, not a Tesla Cybertruck. The Tesla semi-trailer. I'd like to drive one of those, but that's not going to happen. Not the commercial vehicle show this year, but let's see. Lots of plans for the future. stick around. It's going to be good. Apologies that this was a short episode, but hey, new On Speed coming soon. Wish me luck and please stay with me. I've been Gareth and this has been the beginning of a new age for Gareth Jones On Speed.
If you enjoyed the show, then please like and subscribe. For information on how to contact the show, see pictures, read song lyrics, follow us on social media, or to sponsor the podcast, go to garethjones.tv. Gareth Jones On Speed is made in Wales by Whizbang.